Hello everyone. In this video we are going to learn about a very interesting teacher. It is none other than commonly visible tiny ants. But why are ants called teachers? Let's read in the chapter The Tiny Teacher, chapter 1 of class 7 supplementary book An Alien Hand. In this part we will study that though so very small, the ant is unbelievably intelligent and hardworking. Among the various kinds, the commonest ant is black or red. Ants live in comfortable homes called ant hills. So you must all have seen ants. They are very small, but unbelievably, you can't even believe how intelligent and hardworking they are. There are different kinds of ants, but you must have commonly seen black or red ants. Have you ever been bitten by an ant? Commonly red ant, isn't it? Ants live in their homes, which are called ant hills. I'm sure you must have seen ant hills as well. Name the smallest insect you have seen and the wisest. Is it the fly? No, it isn't. Is it the mosquito? No, not the mosquito. Then it must be the worm. No. None of these. It is the ant, the commonest, the smallest, but the wisest insect. The story of an ant's life sounds almost untrue, but people have kept ants as pets and have watched their daily behavior closely. So we know a number of facts about this tiny, hardworking and intelligent creature. So which is the smallest and wisest animal you have ever seen? Is it fly or mosquito or worm? No, it's none of these. It is the commonest animal and it is smallest and wisest. And the story of ant's life is so awesome that it is almost untrue. It doesn't look like true. But people have kept ants as their pet and they have watched the behavior of ants daily and very closely. So we know many facts about ants. They are hardworking and very intelligent creatures. An ant uses its feelers or antenna to talk to other ants by passing messages through them. You must have seen this part of an ant. These are called antennas. And you must have seen ants greeting and talking by touching their antennas. These are also called feelers. They pass messages through their feelers. Watch a row of ants moving up or down the hill. Each ant greets all the other coming from opposite direction by touching their feeler. If you have seen a line of ants moving and coming from opposite direction, you must have seen that when they meet, they talk through their antennas. Their antennas meet. This is how they pass message or greet each other, by touching their antennas or feelers. There are many kinds of ants. The commonest among them are the black or red ones. We have seen them since we were children, but haven't paid enough attention to them. Where do they live? Is there comfortable homes? In their comfortable homes called nests or ant hills. You must have seen these kind of ant hills often. Ants live in their comfortable home called ant hills. We all have seen ants, but we have hardly paid attention to them, isn't it? But they are very interesting creature if you see them closely. And as interesting is their home called ant hills. Each has hundreds of little rooms and passages. In these ant hills, there are hundreds of rooms and there are hundreds of passages. Passages means the route through which we go to other room. In some of these rooms, the queen ant lay eggs. Others are nurseries for the young ones. Nurseries are a room in a house for the special usage of young children. For small kids, we make nursery for small kids. And in some of these, the queen ant lay egg and their young ones are born. Young ones of ants are called grubs. So workers have their reserved quarters. So ants, there are different kind of jobs given to ants. There are workers. They have their reserved quarters. They spend most of their time searching for food. So the job of worker ants are to search food. Some rooms serve as storehouse for this food. In the ant hill, some of these rooms are kept as storehouse for food. Soldiers have separate barracks. Barracks are large building or group of buildings that are reserved for soldiers, where soldiers stay. No worker has ever tried to live in soldier's house. No soldier has ever gone out searching for food. So they have their work defined. Workers have separate work. They don't interfere in the work of soldiers, and soldiers have their separate work and they don't interfere in the work of workers. No worker or soldiers or cleaners has ever harmed a grub, and nobody ever harmed the little one of ants, grubs. So you see, an ant's life is very peaceful. Each does its share of work intelligently and bravely and never fights with other members of the group. So they have their defined work and each of them do their work with sincerity. They don't interfere into each other's works. They don't interfere into each other areas, and this is how they live a peaceful life. Before proceeding, let's see comprehension. The story of ants' life sounds almost untrue. The italicized phrases means it is highly exaggerated, too remarkable to be true, not based on facts. Because it is too remarkable to be true. It is so untrue. It seems so untrue because it is awesome. It is very different. Very unbelievable. Complete the following sentences. An ant is the smallest and wisest and commonest creature. We know a number of facts about an ant's life because people have kept the ants as pets and watched their behavior closely. In what way is an ant's life peaceful? We have studied. The ant's life is peaceful life because each of them have their own share of work which they do with honesty. They do it wisely and with bravery. They do not interfere in each other's work or area. That is why they live such a peaceful life. Now let's move ahead. In this part, we will see that the queen ant has a pair of wings which she casts off before she begins to lay eggs. Eggs hatch and become grubs. Grubs change into cocoons, and cocoons break to bring forth common ants. The life of an ordinary ant in the anthill is a book which many of us seldom open. Seldom means hardly open. That means their life in the anthill is so interesting, but we have never opened it. We have never seen it. The queen is the mother of the entire population of colony. So queen is the mother of all the ants in the anthill. It lives for about 15 years. It has a pair of wings but bites them off after its wedding flight. So the queen's life is about 15 years. The queen initially has pair of wings which it cuts away, which bites away after its wedding flight. This flight takes place on a hot summer day. The queen leaves the nest and goes out to meet a male ant or drone. High up in the air, on its return to earth, it gets rid of its wing and then does nothing but lay egg. So the wedding flights happens on a hot summer day when the queen goes out of its nest to meet a male ant which is called drone. And they go high up in the air. And when the queen returns back to earth, it just bites off its wing and does nothing, stays in the anthill and lays eggs after that. Each eggs hatch and grubs come out. So when these eggs hatch, these little ones called grubs, they come out. Soldiers guard them, workers feed and clean them, and also carry them about daily for airing, exercising and sunshine. So we have seen that each ant has its own responsibility. For these grubs, soldiers guard them, they take care of them, and workers feed and clean them, and they also take them for airing to get fresh air and to do exercise and to get sunshine. 2 or 3 weeks later, grubs become cocoons. So after 2-3 weeks of training, after 2-3 weeks of protection, these grubs turn into cocoon. Cocoons are round shaped, covered in silky thread-like structure. So these grubs becomes cocoon and lie without food or activity for 3 more weeks. So they lie in the cocoons, they lie in the form of cocoons for 3 more weeks. They don't eat any food during that time and they don't do any activity. Then the cocoons break and perfect ants appear. So after 3 weeks, these cocoons break and a perfect, well-formed ants appear. Now it's time for teaching and training. New ants learn their duties from old ants as workers, soldiers, builders, cleaners. Now when these new ants appear, they are also given some work and they are trained. They get the work as workers, soldiers, builders and cleaners. After a few weeks training, the small ants are ready to go out into the big world of work. So after getting training from the older ant, these new ants become ready to go out for their world of work. An anthill is a home not only for ants but also for some other creatures like beetles, lesser breeds of ants and the green fly. So isn't it amazing to know that ants also have pets like beetles, lesser breeds of ants, and greenfly. Why do ants want these alien creatures? Why are they called alien creatures? Because they don't belong to the family of ants. They are outsiders. Still, ants keep them as their pets. But why do ants need them? For several reasons. Some give off smell pleasant to ants' senses. So there are many reasons ants keep these creatures. Some give very pleasant, very soothing, very nice smell which the ants like. Others give sweet juices, and some are just pets or playthings like cats and dogs to humans. So other creatures give them juices, and some are just their pets or playthings like cats and dogs are for we human. The green fly is like ants' cow. The ants train it to give honeydew like milk with a touch of their antenna. So isn't it so amazing that ants also keep pets like we keep cows and get honeydew, which is like milk for ant. They train them to give them honeydew by touching their antenna. They milk it just as we milk cow. So they get milk which is called honeydew from green fly, just like we get milk from cow. Have humans learned as much as ants have? So ants being such a tiny creature, they have learned so many things. Have we learned all these things? You might say yes, but think again. Perhaps they have, but they haven't put their learning to good use. We have learned all these things, but have we put our learnings to good use? They may still learn a few things from this tiny teacher. There are still many things that we can learn from this tiny teacher, like hard work, sense of duty, discipline, cleanliness, care for the young ones, and above all, a firm loyalty to the land where they live. So what can we learn from these tiny teachers? Hard work, sense of duty and discipline, how to maintain cleanliness and take care of young ones in an efficient way, and above all, to be loyal towards our motherland. So aren't these tiny creatures such great teachers? And we can learn so many things from them, isn't it? Now let's see the question answers. How long does it take for a grub to become a complete ant? So we have seen the grub takes 2 to 3 weeks to become cocoons, and then 3 more weeks to become complete ant. Why do the workers carry the grubs about? Workers ants clean and feed the grubs and carry them about for daily airing, exercise and sunshine. What jobs are new ants trained for? The new ants learn their duties from old ants as workers, soldiers, builders, cleaners, etc. Name some other creatures that live in ant hill. Some other creatures that live in ant hill are beetles, lesser breeds of ants, and greenfly. Mention 3 things we can learn from the tiny teacher. Give reason for choosing these items. We can learn many things from tiny teachers. Some of them are hard work, discipline, care for the young ones. We have also learned sense of duty, loyalty towards motherland. You can choose any 3. The way ants work hard, live a disciplined life, and care for and teach their young ones, no other creature can do that. So ants are tiny but great and wonderful teachers, isn't it, students? So this was all about this chapter. Thank you for listening. Bye bye. Take care.